Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. All right, I'm gonna jump down to 2.2, as we already swore in the jurors on Monday. Thank you all for returning. And we were running a little over this morning. I will now explain some of the legal principles you will need to know and procedures you will follow in this trial. A trial follows this procedure. First, the prosecutor makes an opening statement where she gives her theories about the case. The defendant's lawyer does not have to make an opening statement, but may make an opening statement after the prosecutor makes hers, or she may wait until later. These statements are not evidence. They are only meant to help you understand how each side views the case. Next, the prosecutor presents her evidence. The prosecutor may call witnesses to testify and may show exhibits like documents or objects. The defendant's lawyer has the right to cross-examine the prosecutor's witnesses. To prove the charges, the prosecutor must prove the following beyond a reasonable doubt: that on or about September 4th, 2021, at or near the location of 1301 West 8 Mile in the city of Detroit, that Shirley Elizabeth Royal Douglas did, while Myers was open to the public, alter, transfer, remove, and replace, conceal, or otherwise misrepresent the price at which the property was offered for sale with intent not to pay for the property or to pay less than the price at which the property was offered for sale, the resulting difference in the price being less than $200, and or steal the property of the store that was offered for sale at a price contrary to MCL 750.356D subsection 4. After the prosecutor has presented all of her evidence, the defendant's attorney may also offer evidence but does not have to. By law, the defendant does not have to prove her innocence or produce any evidence. If the defense does call any witnesses, the prosecutor has the right to cross-examine them. The prosecutor may also call witnesses to contradict the testimony of the defense witnesses. After all of the evidence has been presented, the prosecutor and the defendant's lawyer will make their closing arguments. Like the opening statements, these are not evidence. They are only meant to help you understand the evidence and the way each side sees the case. You must base your verdict only on the evidence. My responsibilities as the judge in this trial are to make sure that the trial is run fairly and efficiently, to make decisions about evidence, and to instruct you about the law that applies to this case. You must take the law as I give it to you. Nothing I say is meant to reflect my own opinions about the facts of the case. As jurors, you are the ones who will decide the case. Your responsibility as jurors is to decide what the facts of the case are. This is your job and no one else's. You must think about all of the evidence and all of the testimony, and then decide what each piece of evidence means and how important you think it is. This includes how much you believe what each of the witnesses said. What you decide about any fact in this case is final. When it is time for you to decide the case, you are only allowed to consider the evidence that was admitted in the case. Evidence includes only the sworn testimony of the witnesses, the exhibits admitted into evidence, and anything else I tell you to consider as evidence. The questions the lawyers ask the witnesses are not evidence. Only the answers are evidence. You should not think that something is true just because one of the lawyers asks questions that assume or suggest that it is. I may ask some questions of the witnesses myself. These questions are not meant to reflect my opinion about the evidence. If I ask questions, my only reason for doing so would be to ask about things that may not have been fully explored. Sometimes the lawyers and I will have discussions out of your hearing. Also, while you are in the jury room, I may have to take care of other matters that have nothing to do with this case. Please pay no attention to these interruptions. You must not discuss this case with anyone, including your family or friends. You must not even discuss it with other jurors until the time comes for you to decide the case. When it is time for you to decide the case, I will send you to the jury room for that purpose. Then you should discuss the case among yourselves, but only in the jury room and only when all jurors are there. When the trial is over, you may, if you wish, discuss the case with anyone. If I call a recess during the trial, I will either send you back to the jury room or allow you to leave the courtroom on your own and go about your business. But you must not discuss the case with anyone or let anyone discuss it with you or in your presence. If someone tries to do that, tell him or her to stop and explain that as a juror, you are not allowed to discuss the case. If he or she continues, leave and report the incident to me as soon as you return to court. You must not talk to the defendant, the lawyers, or the witnesses about anything at all, even if it has nothing to do with the case. It is very important that you only get information about the case in court when you are acting as the jury and when the defendant, the lawyers, and I are here. You may take notes during the trial and we will provide notebooks for that purpose. Of course, you do not have to. If you do take notes, you should be careful that it does not distract you from paying attention to all of the evidence. When you go to the jury room to decide on your verdict, you may use your notes to help you remember what happened in the courtroom. If you take notes, do not let anyone except the other jurors see them during deliberations. You will leave them in the courtroom during any recess. Your notes will not be examined by anyone, and when your jury service concludes, your notes will be collected and destroyed. You can see that we have chosen a jury of 8. However, after you have heard all of the evidence and all of my instructions, we will draw lots to decide which 2 of you will be dismissed in order to form a jury of 6. Possible penalties should not influence your decision. It is the duty of the judge to fix the penalty within the limits provided by law. I may give you more instructions during the trial, and at the end of the trial, I will give you detailed instructions about the law in the case. You should consider all of my instructions as a connected series. Taken all together, they are the law that you must follow. That concludes the court's instruction. At this time, are the people satisfied with the court's instruction?
People are satisfied.
Is the defense satisfied with the court's instruction?
Defense is satisfied, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to help me. Can we get those notebooks that I just talked about? I want you to help me protect your rights. In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is a little screen. I don't know why that bottom corner screen is not what we see in that big screen, but don't worry about it. I am live streaming the trial at this point. I try to make sure that I do not show jurors' faces on the computer. So see how I'm moving that around, and then I'm gonna bring it back up. If I dismiss you from this courtroom and you see that black door right there in the screen, say, "Hey, Judge, wait." And then, so I can move the camera so that they can't see your faces when you're leaving out the door, the people who are watching the live stream. Okay, are the people ready for opening statements?
The people are ready for opening statements, but before we do, now see.
So why do we have to go in the back, or can you just come to the side? Okay, let's go in the back. Stixon, do you feel any need to go over?
I don't.
All right, I'll go straight to the opening statements, please, if you take notes, mark on your book that is opening statement, be reminded that these opening statements are not evidence. They are only meant to give you an idea of the case, the people's theory of the case. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming back today. I want to start off by saying that in voir dire, I know we all talked about the everyday experience of shopping, going to similar stores like the one that's involved in this case today. So I want you all to keep that in mind when you do this case, because you'll hear about an incident with Ms. World Douglas that happened on September 4th, 2021, when she went to Meyer. And she was doing what everybody knows what to do with shop. So when she went to Meyer, she picked up some items, and that's not a crime. So we're not here because she went shopping. But what is a crime is that when she picked up these items and went to check out, she used the self-checkout key. Now, during her checking out process, she didn't ring up all of the items that she went into Meyer to shop for. Ladies and gentlemen, you will hear from John Overman, who was the loss prevention specialist who apprehended and approached Ms. Douglas. And you'll hear the testimony where he observed Ms. Douglas at the U-Scan, because there's cameras in the U-Scan section that shows Ms. Douglas having these items and not bringing up all of the items that she picked up from mine. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll also see video from the Meyer, and you'll see Ms. World Douglas on video, again, having these items and not paying for all of these items that she took. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's really, really important that you pay attention to the testimony and the evidence that will be presented in court today. And again, I want you all as jurors, even though you are jurors here in the case, I want you all to keep in mind of your everyday experience as shoppers. And I want you all to use that reasonable common sense that you all use on the everyday basis. So, ladies and gentlemen, once you hear the evidence, once you see the video, I'm asking you all to return a guilty verdict for one retail fraud and 2 complaints. Thank you.
Will the defense be making an opening statement at this time?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
You may.
Good morning again, everybody, and thank you again for making it back out. Ms. Royal Douglas and I sincerely appreciate you honoring your commitment to serve as jurors in this case, because it is important, okay? So thank you very much. Thank you for coming on back out. So I'm gonna ask you, as you listen to the evidence that comes before you this morning, because nothing that I say to you as the judge has indicated, nothing that Ms. Ritter says to you as the judge has indicated is evidence. The only evidence that you're gonna consider is that which comes through the testimony and that which comes through any other exhibits that do get admitted, okay? But as you're considering the evidence, I want you to think about the fact that when you come to court, when Ms. Royal Douglas comes to court, she comes to court presumed innocent. But that's not the position that loss prevention in Meyer or any other corporation holds. If they have loss prevention, if they apprehend somebody, if they take somebody to the back, they start with a presumption of guilt, okay? So I want you to think about that. I want you to think about, as you hear the evidence, that they are presuming by the time the loss prevention interacts with Ms. Royal Douglas, they're presuming that she's a thief. They're presuming that she's a shopper, and that's how they're treating her. But that's not what you do when you come to court. When Ms. Royal Douglas came to court this morning, she came to court cloaked in the presumption of innocence, that she's not guilty. Because it's not enough to accuse Ms. Royal Douglas of being a thief. It's not enough to accuse her of being a shoplifter. They have to prove that beyond a reasonable doubt. And what they have to prove, what the prosecution has the burden of proving to you this morning, is that Ms. Royal Douglas intended to steal property. That she intended to shoplift. And you're gonna see video evidence, we're conceding the point that there are items that Ms. Royal Douglas scans, and there are items that she doesn't scan. And we're gonna hope that the evidence proves to you that she did that as a result of an oversight, that she did that as a result of a mistake. We believe the evidence is gonna show that once it was, that Ms. Royal Douglas paid over $100, right around $100 for some merchandise. We believe the evidence is gonna show you that once that was that oversight in bringing, I believe it was a couple of items that are in question. Once it's demonstrated to you that she paid for some of the items, but she didn't pay for the other, she paid for everything. She tried, when they brought it to her attention, to pay. She actually had somebody bring the money into the store and pay right then and there. We believe that that, among other factors that you're gonna take into consideration, is evidence that Ms. Royal Douglas did not go into Meijer on the day of this incident, the first time she'd ever been in there, intending to shoplift. She went in there intending to select merchandise, pay for her merchandise, and go on about her business. She comes to court presumed innocent. And we talked about in voir dire whether or not anybody here is a mind reader. I think it was juror number 1 who told us after consider, no, he thought sometimes that he could know what people are, then he said, no, you can't. You can't read people's minds. And the prosecution has to prove to you beyond a burden of doubt. They have a burden of proof to you beyond a reasonable doubt that Ms. Royal Douglas intended to steal, and we're gonna hope that at the close of the proofs, you find that they have not been able to do that, and we're gonna ask that you find Ms. Royal Douglas not guilty, because we don't believe they're gonna show that she intended to steal. Thank you.
You may call the person. Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, the people would like to call John Overman to the stand.
JOHN, ATHAN, OVER, MA.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, that's right.
You may sit, have a seat.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Overman.
Good morning.
Mr. Overman, that mic that you just touched is adjustable, so it moves up and down. So if you can keep your voice up for the jury and adjust the mic if you need to, so that the jury can hear you, we all can hear you, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Overman, can you state your full name for the record?
Full name is Jonathan James Overman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Overman. And Mr. Overman, where are you employed?
I work for Meijer.
Okay, how long have you been employed with Meijer?
A little over 10 years now.
A little over 10 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Overman, can you tell the jury what your position is at Meijer?
So I'm a store detective at Meijer. That's the title of the position. It's loss prevention.
Okay, and how long have you been in that position specifically?
About 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the role of the loss prevention or store detective in Meijer?
So in short, we investigate loss, internal and external, whether that be to theft or damages, improper processes, the things that are being followed, that kind of stuff. So any kind of loss, we investigate.
Okay, and when you say any kind of loss, is that on behalf of the store?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Overman, were you at 1301 West 8 Mile in the city of Detroit on September 4th of 2021?
Yes, I was.
And on that day at that location, were you employed with Meyer?
Yes.
Okay, and did something happen on that date at that location that brings you to court today?
Yes.
Okay, can you start by telling the jury what happened?
I apprehended a customer for shoplifting at the self-checkout register.
Okay, so let me go back just a little bit, I apologize for all of it. That address is commonly known as Meyer?
Yeah.
Okay, is that within the city of Detroit?
Yes.
And is that in the county of Wayne?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And, where were you when you, noticed, somebody at the self-checkout?
I was in the loss prevention office, the asset protection office, watching the self-checkouts on closed circuit television,
Okay,
the cameras.
okay, so when you say you watch on the cameras, what exactly is displayed on the cameras in the loss prevention office?
So we have two screens, maybe just a little bit smaller than that one there. And when I'm watching the self-checkouts, it shows we have 12 self-checkout registers. So there's the 12 video feeds displayed on the screen. And then next to those, every time an item is scanned or anytime anything happens on the register, it's displayed next to the video feed.
Okay, so when you say there's 12 self-checkout lanes, each monitor displays each lane?
So, well, we have the two monitors, and then I'll have, 6 on each one.
Okay,
6 video feeds on each monitor, yeah.
okay, so, is each lane marked as to which one you're watching on the screen?
Yes,
Okay, and so, do you monitor all 6 monitors for the self-checkout?
yes.
Okay, and what drew your attention to this specific transaction that's in question today?
It was the scanning multiple items, or scanning one item multiple times, and then seeing, different items
Okay,
go into the bag.
okay, and the person you observed on the monitor, do you see that person in court today?
I believe so.
Okay, can you point that person out and tell me what that person is wearing?
On the table here, with wearing the black jacket,
Okay, can you point out anything else about that person?
and red and black hair.
Judge, may the record reflect the identification of Shirley Royal Douglas. The record reflect that identification. And, Mr. Overman, can you tell the jury what happened after you noticed these transactions?
So after I noticed the I think it was pants, had been scanned multiple times, and for the same item, same UPC scanned multiple times for different pairs of pants. I continued to watch the transaction. As I observed, I believe it was a package of shirts that were bagged without being scanned at all. And then there was, I believe it was another clothing item that got bagged without being scanned at all.
Okay, and when you're saying that they're not being scanned, are you verifying this with the other monitor, where it shows which items are being scanned? Is that
Correct.
right?
Correct, yeah.
Thank you. And what do you do after that happens?
So after that, just watch the transaction to the end.
And explain to the jury what you mean to the end.
So that would be to the conclusion where, the individual pays for the items that they did scan. And then see whether or not that person maybe leaves the unscanned merchandise behind or with the cashier, or if they leave the area and attempt to exit the store with it.
Okay, and in this particular case, what did Ms. Royal Douglas do after she paid for the item that she did?
So in this case, she completed her transaction, paid for the items that she did scan, and then attempted to exit the store with the price list items and the two items that hadn't been scanned or paid for.
Okay, and on the monitor that you're watching, does it show, the transaction being paid for?
Yes.
Okay. Judge, may I approach? Okay. So, Mr. Overman, I just handed you a document. Do you recognize that document?
Yes, I do.
What do you recognize that document to be?
So this would be the receipt from the transaction I observed.
And, what date is on that document?
The date is September 4th, 2021.
Okay, and is that the receipt that you handed over to the police?
Correct, yes.
And from your knowledge, looking at that document, has that receipt been altered, changed, fabricated in any kind of way?
No, it's not.
Judge, at this time, people move to admit people's proposed exhibit 2 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
People's proposed exhibit 2 is admitted as exhibit 2.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, people would like to publish people's exhibit 2 to the jury.
Okay.
May I approach you? Or,
Officer Grant, no, I said into the.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Officer Grant, can you get the? Okay. It's ready to continue.
thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Overman, the, video from the self-checkout transaction, did you view that video?
Yes, I did.
Did you turn that video over to the police?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and Judge, at this time, I share my screen.
You may.
So, Mr. Overman, if you can't look at the monitor that's in the courtroom right now. Okay, can you see the monitor in the courtroom, Mr. Overman?
Yes.
Okay, now, Mr. Overman, on that monitor, you recognize what that is a screenshot of?
Yes, so that would be a screenshot from the video feed from that day.
Okay, and is this the same video feed that you were monitoring in the asset protection room?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and was this the same video that you turned over to police?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and from your knowledge, has the video been, before it was turned over to the police, to your knowledge, has that video been changed, altered, deleted in any kind of way?
No, it's not.
Judge, at this time, people like to admit people propose exhibit 1 into evidence.
Objection.
No, I don't have any objection.
People's proposed exhibit 1 is admitted as exhibit 2.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, people would like to publish people's exhibit 1 to the jury.
You may. Before you do that, excuse me. Approach in the front.
Stop sharing there.
No. Take the jury into the hall, right? Just right into the hall right there for me.
All right, so the jury.
Oh, wait, okay. Thank you, Mr. President. I mean, you can go ahead and take a look. Yeah, go ahead. Just right into the hall. Leave your notebook in your chair, please. All right, you may be seated. And then I want you to keep sharing while I do this because I don't want to see this first.
Okay.
All right. Okay, oh, good, the camera is disabled. Okay, the individual that I, just led into the courtroom, can you unmute and confirm that your last name is Payne? The person I just led in the courtroom, can you unmute and tell me if your last name is Payne? All right, I'm gonna remove Payne, but it's a discharge. I didn't want to keep waiting. So,
Okay,
they said he completed all the terms
okay.
and he's not responding. Mr. Payne? Okay, he's not at it.
Yes, yes, I'm here.
Okay. Okay, you know, that was like 5 times I called your name. Mr. Payne, you're getting discharged today, so I didn't want you to continue to wait. I'm in a jury trial. So we'll send you your discharge paperwork. I have had an opportunity to review the report from probation, and they said you completed all the terms and conditions of your probation, okay?
Okay.
All right, so you're all set. You can log off. Have a great day. Stay safe.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, bring them through there.
All right, to the jury.
And the baby has stood up one time, and just tell y'all that, the baby that's in my courtroom has stood up one time when we said stand up. All right, you may be seated. Okay, people may publish.
Thank you. At this time, people will say people exhibit 1. At this time, people pause, people exhibit 1. Mr. Overman, looking at that monitor, is this the same monitor that you, viewed in the asset protection room?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so is this the person, on the monitor that you see in court today?
Yes.
People can see. People exhibit 1. People pause, people exhibit 1. So, Mr. Overman, if you just watch the monitor in the courtroom, you notice, Ms. Royal Douglas scanned a pair of pens with more than one with that. So that, the moment that caught your attention, that's in this transaction?
So looking at the video here, when I misspoke, I got the 2 events, turned around, but caught me, started looking at it, it's been some time. But it was all the packages of clothes and things like that. And then, the pants, but yeah, so.
Okay, and the pants are the items that you're saying were, different prices when she's seen ringing up one pair of pants.
Right, because you'll see that they're different prices and different colors, and only the, UPC on the one pair was scanned.
And from your testimony, you're saying that the monitor in your, asset protection room only showed 3 pair of pants being scanned instead of the 4 that's in her hand, is that correct?
Correct.
People continue to play people with different ones. At this time, people will stop playing People's Exhibit 1 and stop sharing the screen. So, Mr. Overman, viewing the video on the screen, what happened after Ms. Royal Douglas left that use section?
So, as she was leaving the self-checkout, the register, I left the office, and went to the front exit of the store.
And is that where she was headed?
Yes.
Okay, and did you, approach Ms. Royal Douglas?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and without telling me what was said, what did you do after you approached her?
So, after I, approached her, I identified myself, as loss prevention for, the Midas store.
Okay, and then what did you do after?
So after that, we, walked back to the loss prevention office.
Okay, and after you took her to the loss prevention office, did you at any time contact the police?
Yes, I did.
Does anybody have one more? Okay. Your Honor, I have no further questions at this time.
Cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Morning, Mr. Overman.
Good morning.
So, do you recall, making a report of this incident for the police?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and do you recall including in that report that that Ms. Royal Douglas, after you kind of got her attention, that she walked cooperatively back with you to the loss prevention office?
Yeah, I noted in the report that we walked back.
Okay, do you recall, that you asked her to walk back and she complied?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And, do you recall Ms. Royal Douglas telling you that she, thought she scanned her items appropriately?
Judge objection, that calls for hearsay. You want to respond?
Actually, I would like to ask a question.
Sustain.
Okay. So do you recall making a report of that incident, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and, do you recall reporting your conversation with Ms. Royal Douglas at the time you spent in the loss prevention office?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and do you recall whether or not she told you that she properly scanned her, that she thought she properly scanned her items?
Again, objection to step or cause for hearsay. Sustain.
So, if I may respond, I asked him if he recalled that she told him,
And what about that answer does not call for hearsay?
if he remembers.
No, you said, do you remember if she told you that she didn't, that calls for hearsay?
Okay, all right, I will move on from there then. Okay, so, we don't have it, the video that we just watched, we don't have any, audio of that, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so when the way those U-scans work, as you scan an item, does there make a sound usually, or?
Yes, there's a sound and it lights up, and it also shows that the item was scanned, itemized list on the receipt, or on the screen, yeah.
Okay, all right, and so which register was this for the U-scan is that we're talking about? Do you remember?
The, particular number,
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't recall the exact self-checkout number.
Okay, so how many self-checkout lanes are there at your store?
There are 12.
Okay, so, when you are watching Ms. Royal Douglas, you can see where her lane is there's a lead cashier, right, that helps out with U-scans?
Correct.
Okay, and you can see how close her register is to the lead cashier, right?
Correct.
Do you recall how close her register was to the lead cashier?
No, I do not.
Okay, all right. And you don't remember which register she was at?
I couldn't say with certainty.
Okay, all right. So is it the way loss prevention works? You guys, when you're watching up on the screen, you're the ones, nobody else to bring your attention to the fact that there's something strange going on at the register, right?
Are you asking if people ever report things?
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
people will report suspicious activity, yeah.
Okay, so on this particular instance, there is that lead cashier, right?
Correct.
That you scan. Okay, did that lead cashier alert you to anything strange going on at Ms. Royal Douglas register?
No.
Okay, all right, so do you recall, what the value was of the property that Ms. Royal Douglas was accused of stealing?
In total, I believe it was approximately $65.
Okay, and do you recall what the composition of that was?
I'm sorry, I don't understand, like what,
What she accused of stealing?
yeah, it was, the price switch pants, and then the, package of shirts or clothing.
Okay, so you're saying a price switch?
Correct.
What do you
Yeah.
mean by that?
So, price switch would be if, for example, you had an item that was worth, say you have two items, one's worth $5, one's worth $10.
Mhm.
Price switch would be, you have both items in your hand, you scan the one lower priced item twice, or for however many items you have, and place both into the bag.
Okay, all right, so, you didn't see anything that showed you that Ms. Royal Douglas was like taking a tag off of one item and putting it on another item, correct?
Judge, objection. Assuming that's in the. Please.
She asked. Oh. She asked a question.
Did let me repeat the question? You want me to repeat the question, Mr. Overman?
Yes, if you would.
Okay, so did you see if I can get it back the same way I had it, did you see Ms. Royal Douglas take the tag off of one item and scan that item, that tag in place of the one she should have been scanning?
No.
Okay, all right, so how would you describe what you saw Ms. Royal Douglas doing with regard to the pants?
With regard to the pants, I observed that there were different styles of pants all being scanned with the same UPC tag.
Okay, so do you remember if those are, okay, so she has 4 pairs of pants? And in essence, would you agree that the video shows her scanning one item multiple times?
Yes, one item 3 times.
One item 3 times? Okay, all right.
Is that a yes or no, or you should?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, can I take a look at, I want to show Mr. Overman the exhibit. I think it's. Oh. Okay. And approach the jury, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, now approach the witness, Your Honor. Thank you. So, Mr. Overman, I'm gonna hand you, what's already been admitted as People's Exhibit without 1, 2. And was it your testimony that Ms. Royal Douglas stole 3 pairs of pants?
So 3 of them would have been price switched. 1 of them was not paid for at all, so that one would have been outright.
Okay, all right. So how many pairs of pants are on the receipt?
So there are 3 pairs of pants here.
Okay, so she actually she paid something for 3 pairs of pants.
Correct.
Okay, you're just saying that she paid less than she should have paid.
Correct.
Okay, do you know how much she should have paid for those 3 pairs of pants?
I think the other pairs were about $2 or $3 more expensive.
Okay, so she paid about, how much did she pay for each pair of pants?
$15.
Okay, and so she should have paid about $17 for each of those pairs of pants?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, and then the other pair of pants that she didn't pay for at all, she should have paid how much for those?
About the same price, $16-17.
Okay, all right. So again, do you know how much you said, how much was the value of the property that she stole?
So including the pants that weren't scanned at all and including the package of shirts that weren't scanned at all, it was about $65.
Okay, but she actually did pay you about $15 for each of those 3 pairs of pants.
So there has to be a certificate.
I mean, if you don't have a response to the objection, it's the same.
Okay. So, and personal concern.
Right.
Do you recall how long you did take Ms. Royal Douglas back into the loss prevention office, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and do you recall how long you were back there with her before Detroit police arrived? They came out?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how long you had her back there before they came?
No, I do not. I don't recall exactly.
Okay. Do you think you had her back there for more than an hour before the police arrived?
No, I wouldn't have been
Objection,
done.
that calls for speculation, he said he doesn't remember.
Do you know about how long she was back there before police arrived?
I couldn't say with certainty, no.
Okay, so I'm gonna, do you know about what time you took her back there?
Around 4 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, did Ms. Royal, should I get that back to the? Did Ms. Royal Douglas ever offer to pay for any merchandise?
I don't know.
Objection or relevance?
Don't do that. Sustained as to relevance and it's cause of a hearsay.
Okay, I don't have anything. Oh, just 1 second, I'm sorry. So, when you're in the loss prevention office, you can see the whole store, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so are you like the head of the loss prevention on that shift at that time?
No. So at that time, the head of loss prevention would be my boss.
Okay, and was he there at that time that this happened in the store?
I don't recall.
Okay, all right, so you have an opportunity to see the whole store though, right, from where you are in the office?
Correct.
Okay, and do you recall whether or not Ms. Royal Douglas came to your attention before she got to the register?
No, she did not.
Okay, it was only at the register that she comes to your attention?
Correct.
Okay, all right, okay, I don't have anything further, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry, I'm not sure my screen again.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Overman, was displayed on the monitor again in the video labeled as people exhibit 1. So what I'm gonna do is just slow it down just a bit. With respect to the transaction. So in the video, Mr. Overton, you see there are items in both of Ms. Roy Douglas's hand, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you can still see the monitor that's monitoring what's being scanned, is that correct?
Correct, yeah, it's not here on the video, it only displays live on our computer.
Okay. So when you notice, Mr. Overman, and the purpose for slowing the video down is, when you notice the first transaction that's not being paid for, just point that out. If anyone needs water, remember to raise your hand, we'll get you some. I'm gonna stop that video right there, Mr. Overman. So that item that you see Ms. Roy Douglas placing in the bag right now, what's that item in her hand?
It's a pack of t-shirts,
I'm sorry, don't worry about what I said. Don't worry. Oh, I apologize. It's okay. Go ahead, Mr. Overman.
packages of t-shirts,
Okay,
packages of clothing.
okay. Judge, may I approach?
You may.
I'm handing you people's exhibit two. Now, looking on that receipt, did you see the package of t-shirts on that receipt that was paid for?
No, I do not.
Okay. And just keep that document with you, Mr. Overman, while I play the rest of the video, please. Mr. Overman, right here, how many pair of pants do you count that this, Royal Douglas has at the facility?
4.
Okay. Okay, now right here, do you recall what you see on your monitor while you were reviewing this, what's going on during this transaction?
So, the same UPC code for the 1 pair of pants, being scanned 3 times and then, you know,
All
checked
right,
against the.
just pause a little bit. I want you to stand up and just stretch. I want my viewers to stand up and stretch. Stand up and stretch. Does anybody need any water? Who needs water? Okay, let's get 4 cups of water. I need everybody to pay attention. Let me know if you need a break. All right. Sit back down. And then ready, when they come over with the water, just let them know who wanted that water. I apologize for the interruption. You recall your question?
Yeah, sure, thank you.
Okay.
So, Mr. Overman, as I stated, what do you notice in the law prevention office during this transaction? What do you notice on your mind?
So I noticed on the monitor, you know, of course, there's the different styles and, you know, color pants. There's 4 of them and only 1 UPC is being scanned. And that one only scanned 3 times.
Okay, so Ms. Royal Douglas only scanned the 1 pair of pants 3 times
Correct.
for 4 pair of pants. Is that your testimony?
Right, correct.
And looking at that receipt, how many pairs of pants did she pay for?
Just 3.
And those 3 pair of pants, what are the big prices?
$15.
All 3.
Correct.
And the people is not sharing the video, Your Honor.
Okay.
So, Mr. Overman, again, during that transaction, after the items that were paid for, what direction did you see Ms. Royal Douglas heading?
Towards the front entry exit of the store.
Okay, and where did you approach or apprehend Ms. Royal Douglas?
At the exit.
Okay, and so she was attempting to leave the store.
Correct.
Okay, and Mr. Overman, are there cashiers at Myers?
Yes, there are.
Okay, and do you recall during this incident, were there cashiers present at Myers on that day?
Yes.
Okay, and those lanes were open?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions. Ms. Dixon, anything?
Yes, so, do you recall the incident date is September 4th of 2021. Do you recall if the store was really busy that day or not that many people? Or?
I don't recall.
Okay, do you know if that was the Labor Day weekend?
I don't recall.
Okay, do you recall, so if you remember, or if you know, actually, I'm gonna strike that. Did you notice that the do you know what kind of pants those were that Ms. Royal Douglas was trying to buy?
They're Falls Creek brand.
Okay, and is that a school uniform pant?
They're khakis.
Okay, all right. Okay, I don't have anything for you. Thank you.
Ms. Britt? All right, thank you, sir, you may step down.
Thank you.
All right, any other, witnesses on behalf of the people?
No, Your Honor.
All right, people rest,
The people do rest.
okay? All right, it is 12:18, so why don't we go ahead and take the lunch break now? And I will see if there's anything that needs to be taken up outside the rest of the jury. And then we'll continue with the rest of the case, after lunch. We're gonna return at 1:20 from lunch. Please make sure you're on time. There are several restaurants, of course, in the area. We do not have a lunchroom in the building, so you do have to, if you want to eat, you have to go out of the building. Of course, there's Greektown, Ford Field has a little restaurant. Frank Murphy has a store that just kind of sells stuff. And then be back by 1:20 to the door on the third floor. All right.
All rise for the jury.
All right, the people have rested. Will there be, any, you all can be seated. Will there be anything on behalf of the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does the defense have a motion or we're proceeding with the defense's case?
Proceed.
And does your client intend to testify? Has she made that decision yet, or you need to do that after lunch?
She does intend to testify.
All right, well, let's get it out of the way now. Now state your name.
Shirley Elizabeth Royal Douglas.
And ma'am, your lawyer has indicated that you intend to give up your right to remain silent and testify in this case. Is that what you intend to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand that you have an absolute right to remain silent? And that if you give up the right to remain silent, the jury is going to consider not just the people's case, but whatever you testify to, whether it is in your favor or not in your favor?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone threatened you in any way or promised you anything that was not placed on the record to get you to give up your right to remain silent?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand that the decision to testify is yours and yours alone? It is your personal decision to make. While in consultation with your lawyer, you have the ultimate say as to whether or not you will testify.
Yes,
And an opportunity to speak with your lawyer about whether you will testify.
yes,
Is it your personal decision to testify?
yes.
All right, and we will take, we'll come back at 1:20. Okay, Ms. Peterson, let's go ahead and do, these last two things.
Ms. Stevenson.
Please adjust your camera so that we can see your full face. All right, this is case number 135965301, the people versus Portia. Janae Fuller, the defendant is charged with operating while intoxicated and driving while license suspended, revoked, or denied. Today is the date set for pretrial conference appearances, please.
For the record, Your Honor, Christina Ritter on behalf of the
Janice Stevenson appearing on behalf of Portia Fuller. Ms. Fuller, may I please say your full name?
Portia Jenny Phililov.
How are we proceeding?
On behalf of Ms. Fuller, Your Honor, we would continue to plea of not guilty. Ask that the matter be set for a final pretrial conference.
Court continues to not guilty, please set the matter for a final pretrial conference. What's the last date?
June 20th, or the 21st.
June 21st. At 9 o'clock, discovery. Then submitted by June 4th. Bond will continue with no drinking and no driving without a license. Anything further?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Nothing on behalf of Ms. Fuller. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, then, ma'am, we're all set until June 21st, excuse me, June 21st at 9 a.m. Have a great day, stay safe. This is case number 234495901, people of the state of Michigan versus Debate. Ms. Rump, I need your full and undivided attention. I need your full and undivided attention. Okay, I'm not gonna do the case. I don't know what she's saying, but she was late and now I don't have full and undivided attention. So let me say, I guess, let me come in the camera. Clear. Case was scheduled at 8:30. I'm giving grace by allowing the case to move forward. I need Ms. Rump's undivided attention or I'm not going to do the case. All right, so, defendant is charged with one.
I'm sorry, I've been on here since 8:30, literally, on the Zoom call.
You literally have not. You literally have not. So I guess all of the other cases that we did, including the jury trial, we just left you sitting. All of the other 8:30 cases that went to the breakout room earlier this morning. If I had my docket from upstairs, I would be able to tell you exactly what time you came for. Nonetheless, today is the day set for pretrial conference. Ms. Stevenson, how are we proceeding?
Move for dismissal for the complainant's failure to appear, Your Honor.
Ms. Ritter?
Your Honor, I have not seen, or I don't see now, the complainant witness, Ms. Christina Young, in the waiting room.
I won't do it. I can't do the case with Ms. Rump's ear. She has to get some headphones. I'll allow her to log back in this afternoon if she wants to log back in with headphones, but I can't do the case with looking down her eardrum. I can't do it. Okay, so if we're gonna present correctly for court. That means that we are stationary, that we are seated in an upright position, that I am not competing with somebody's job, that I'm not competing with the fact that someone decided to go to work. If we go back to February 2020, Zoom was not available. It was not an available option to attend court. We're thankful that it is an available option, but it's only available to those who know how to attend court on Zoom. It is unavailable to those who do not know how to attend court on Zoom. Okay, so we've been doing cases since 8:30 this morning. We've been calling cases, lawyers been talking to people. We've had a whole jury in the courtroom. We've done testimony. We've done sentencing. We've done a whole lot this morning. Okay, let's try again. Ms. Ritter, what were you saying?
Your Honor, so I have not seen the complainant witness log in this morning, with respect to this case, and it is scheduled as a first-time pretrial conference, so I respectfully ask the court to adjourn this matter and give the complainant witness one more opportunity to appear before.
The court is going to deny defense counsel's motion for dismissal, grant the people's request for an adjournment, giving them an opportunity to locate and notify the complaining witness of the obligation to appear before the court. I'm going to set the matter for pretrial conference. You know what adjourn date I gave to all the other people that were at 8:30 this morning, the cases that we heard, for the people that came to court at 8:30 this morning. What date did I give those people to come back to court?
June 14th.
Court is going to adjourn the matter to June 14th at 8:36. The complaining witness is required to appear. Failure of the complaining witness to appear will most likely result in the matter being dismissed unless the people have a valid explanation as to why the complaining witness could not appear or should not be required to appear. Bond will continue with no contact with the complaining witness. Anything further with respect to this matter?
Not from the people, Your Honor, thank you.
Nothing on behalf of Ms. Rose, thank you, Your Honor.
Then we're all set. Have a great day and stay safe. All right.